All right, welcome everyone to another 5 a.m. Club After Hours where we are learning AI today. But before we get started, we are building off of our four pillars: faith, fitness, mental health, and business, where we help nonprofits and other small businesses grow using our frameworks and transforming them into $1 million, even $1 billion corporations. So, how you doing tonight, Sherrell?
I am doing well. How are you doing tonight?
I'm doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Can't complain. Life is good. I'm blessed.
I know. How was your holiday weekend?
Oh, it was a holiday weekend, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was cool. Went and saw some friends. I did make a video about some things I experienced, but everything was cool. What about yours?
It was pretty cool. Went to a couple barbecues, pool party, seen some fireworks. So no complaints. I think that's what all Americans do, right? Go to a pool party, barbecue, share with family.
Yeah, barbecue,
Back to work.
pool party, water, and it's right back to the grind. But that's why we're here today to help with that grind, help with the work that people are doing, and you are able to help them by using AI. So let's talk about that. So I'll let you go ahead and give your introduction to the AI process and the framework, the execution lab that you have put together, and I'll close my mouth because I like to talk.
No worries. We're both talkers. Well, hello, everyone. So, I just want to briefly introduce myself again. I am Sherrell Butler. I am currently the founder of Tech Your Way, a nonprofit dedicated to advancing AI and digital literacy for youth. Outside of that, I do work as a Scrum Master. So, I help digital transformations in IT companies right now with Marathon Petroleum Company. And outside of that, for maybe about the last 4 years, I've taught myself, everything about AI, vibe coding, and all of that good stuff. So I'm here now to try to help other professionals create systems, build businesses, but mainly demystify it, right? Like help you understand a way to learn and how you can leverage AI and these skills so that you can grow systems, you can be a builder, and that, yeah, you can just create wealth. So that's what we're here for today. So as you can see right now, it says on your screen, AI Wealth and Business Execution Lab. So with our partnership with me and the 5 a.m. Club, HSI, I created this really nice framework for us because a lot of people, know about AI. And what I hear a lot is, how do I create an agent? Like, I want to make an agent. I want to get rid of some employees, or maybe I don't want to get rid of some employees. I want to add some more employees, right? But I think it's super important to kind of have a foundation first. So that's what I'm going to be discussing about here, how we're going to create a framework for you all. We have an architecture framework called Glow. And we're going to go through that really soon. But this framework is going to really guide you through the process of how to learn AI, how to start leveraging it for your business, and then how I will teach you once you join our school community and what you'll learn there. So, yes. So I kind of went into it a little bit already, but I think it's very important to understand this philosophy, right? Before we talk about AI, before we talk about agents, and before we build anything, you really need to have an understanding of what is AI, what is artificial intelligence, what is an AI assistant versus an AI agent, right? So before you start buying new software and getting all these tools and transforming your companies, it's really important to understand that foundation. So that's what we're going to dive into. So, my mission, like I said before, right, is to demystify this. So, how do we do that? How are we going to do this? I want everyone to leave this program being an active creator, right? You're going to leave with a more empowered mindset. So, the old ways, AI is only for tech experts and engineers. No, we all know that. Right now, if you pull out ChatGPT and you ask it a question, it will provide you an answer. You do not have to be an expert to do that. You don't have to be technical to build things, believe it or not. Right now, with artificial intelligence, it's like a super intelligent tool for us and it assists us as humans. So you don't have to be a software engineer to build websites or to build apps anymore. As long as you have the knowledge, understand how to use artificial intelligence, when to use it, then you can build. And you don't have to just be a consumer either, right? Like a lot of people feel as if like, okay, I don't have to learn this. I'm just gonna know enough. I'll use it, play games with it. But no, we really want you to be able to use this at an enterprise level. So AI is just a tool. It amplifies our ideals, right? we all have the potential to be an innovator, a builder, and a creator. So, what I'm trying to get us to understand here is that those ideals that you have at nighttime, when you're laying down or you're thinking, you're with your spouse, and you have these bright ideals, right? What if I start showing you how if you write these ideals down, then you can start creating prototypes? And again, I want us to be creators of this technology. It's I don't want us to gatekeep it. AI, artificial intelligence right now is open source. Anyone can use it, anyone can build from it. And we're here to really help you understand it, right? So the first thing is we want to shift our mindset from a passive user to an active creator. We're no longer going to be the people that just uses AI, uses ChatGPT to just write a paragraph, write a sentence, or to figure out, what today is, the weather. Like, we're not going to just use the internet passively anymore. Now we're going to actually be those creators and builders of it. Okay, you can go to the next slide. So, like I said, I created this architecture. I think it's really important to have a framework, to have something, some steps, something to guide you through this process. So, I came up with GLOW. So, GLOW means grow. First, we're going to grow. We're going to build on the internal core first, the knowledge and the mindset. So we're going to work on our mindset and the knowledge. So in the first sessions that we have, we're going to understand what artificial intelligence is. And like I said, we're going to dive a little bit more into ways on how you can understand if you're just using it passively or if it's time to start creating. Then leverage. That's when we get to multiplying, right? Now we understand the technology. Now we're going to start understanding what tools to use. So we have the knowledge, we have the mindset. So we're empowered to use the tools to multiply. Orchestrate. This is my favorite part. Now that you know the tools, you know the technology, now it's time to start connecting the dots, connecting the pieces, putting together systems. This is where the AI agents come from. This is when you start assessing your business and trying to figure out what ways you can adopt AI so that you can generate more sales. And then once you go through the grow, the leverage, and the orchestrate, you automatically just win because now you have the knowledge, you have the mindset, you know what tools to use, you understand the technology. Now you're able to put together the pieces, create the systems, and holistically, you're going to win and you'll see those results.
So I have a question before we go to the next slide.
Sure.
What's a mindset that we want to try to get away from when using AI? I know you named a few, but limiting beliefs is something that I really strongly feel passionate about. People have been programmed to think a certain way, and with that programming, whether that's in life, fitness, faith, business, whatever the case may be, that keeps them stagnant. So, what's something like a mindset that we want to change about AI that you didn't call out before? Because I want people to really transform their mind before even getting into AI.
Yeah. So fear, a fearful mindset. So I would say right now for those people who kind of fear AI, like, oh, it's going to take my job, or I'm against this, right? So just having that mindset alone blocks your growth because now your mind automatically goes into a mode of like, I don't want to learn this. I don't want to understand anything about it. But the reality of the world is that it's not going anywhere. We're going through evolution. It's not going to change. So for sure, we want people to get out of that fear of they don't know about it, so they don't want to learn it. Um, do you have any questions before I move on with that one?
Yeah, so fear was a big thing a couple years ago, and I think it's still relevant today because it's rumors like I'm going to be laid off because AI is going to take my job. But I heard the CEO of NVIDIA say AI is not going to take your job. AI is going to make your job easier. But if you don't choose to learn how to use AI, that is what's going to take your job, the people that know how to use it. So
Right.
go ahead. Do you want to talk more about that?
Oh no, I was gonna say exactly. So, and that's what I mean when I say like get rid of that fearful mindset, right? Because when you automatically just think like, oh, it's gonna take my job, or I don't know nothing about this. What is this? They're gonna take over. Then you automatically just kind of block yourself from learning. And just like you said, the CEO from NVIDIA, and it's a big saying now. Like it's not AI isn't gonna take your job. The people who know how to use AI is gonna take your job. So that's why we want to focus on that growth mindset, right? But becoming knowledgeable about it. But I think in order to get rid of the fear, you have to understand it. You have to understand what is artificial intelligence, right? And it's really just a more improved version of the internet. We accepted the internet, so why can't we accept artificial intelligence? It's because we aren't knowledgeable about it. We're not learning about it. We're just hearing about it, and we're hearing all these statistics, and now we're like, oh no, we're fearing it. So I think it's super, super important to not be that person that, is just kind of scared of it right now. Go learn about it. And then also if you decide like, no, this isn't what I want to do, or this isn't the route I want to choose for myself and my family, then that's fine. But to not go seek the knowledge, it's not a good thing. So, and like we said before, by 2030, 92% of jobs will require digital skills, will require people to use some form of artificial intelligence as well. So I think it's super important, that we kind of stop for a second and talk about that, like that fear mindset of it. But again, my solution to a fearful mindset is to learn about it. Learn about it first. Don't be the person that hears about it, just automatically assumes, have an assumption. Go understand the knowledge, understand what it is, understand like where you are, like what profession you're in, and then how is it going to impact you and what should you learn.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say one more thing about fear because fear is something that can stop us from being successful. When you any innovation, anything that has been introduced to you for the first time is fearful. Like you have a lot of fear in it. That's either you're applying for a job that you've never had, you get the interview. Now you're scared because you don't know what to expect during that interview. Or even let's say fire to microwaves. When we were cooking with just fire and then we went to microwaves, people saying you would turn into a mutant if you were to use a microwave. The internet, I could go on and naming different things that the world was fearful of. And the problem is, it's people out here that will stir up that fear so they can use it and you'll be second or last to get caught up to where you need to be. So I just want to let everyone out there know fear is not a tool to use in any situation. Fear causes injury, fear causes doubt, and it can hurt you financially, physically, mentally, and emotionally. So that's the last thing I'm gonna say about that. And I'll let you go to the next slide because I could talk about it all day.
No, I agree. But no, okay. So now growth, right? So I know we talked about um, growth. I want you all to have a growth mindset, right? But growth begins with curiosity. So kind of like we were just saying, like you have to be curious about something before you just shut it down. But how do we do that? So you have to be able to stay adaptable, right? So times are changing. And as you all know, if you don't know, adaptability is a main workforce skill now. Being adaptable, like being someone that's in a role, and if change comes, that you're able to embrace that change. You can be agile and commit to lifelong learning. Being a continuous learner is something that some of us have to learn. Like you don't automatically just wake up and love to learn, but it's super important to try to start using some of these things, right? Like start being curious, being adaptable, committing to lifelong learning. So that way you can open your mind to many possibilities. So that's what this is all about here, right? We're always going to empower you to understand emerging technology instead of fearing it, to read about it, to learn about it. But again, like if I were to ask you one thing, I would say like, what do I need to learn to create the future I want? And I kind of touched on it again in the past. Like if whatever profession you're in, you should be asking yourself, how is AI going to impact my life, my career, my family?
And your business
Your
because you have employees, but your employees can leverage AI to help your company produce quicker and more efficient results. Because I was thinking about this today. What's the difference between a human brain and AI outside of the rate of learning and adapting? AI is clean. AI doesn't have all of these distractions or things that pollute it unless you put it inside of your agent or prompt it a certain way, it doesn't know anything except for what you are asking it to go do. So it's a straight line. But human beings, we fill ourselves up with negativity, looking at things that we shouldn't be, th- bringing things into our body that we shouldn't bring into our body. So our brain function slows down because it's too many different slides going back and forth. It's like one of those toys that go like our brain works the same way. So if you are putting too much in your brain as distractions or distracting you from your goal, you won't be able to creatively think about solutions to those problems. But AI is clean. It has a solution very quickly and it can go find it. It's like raising a baby without all of the worldly things that corrupt a human being. So
I don't want to say one thing. It can be clean, and we'll learn about that later. But with the power of AI, right, you can create your own knowledge base. So right now, I just want to say something. When people use a chat model right now, you're using a knowledge base of 100 thousands of data. I mean, probably more than thousands of data, but like tons of data, right? But when you start creating your own AI models, your own chat bots, your own systems, you're only going to use the knowledge base what you provide AI, what your company provides it. So I love that you said that because it's a great correlation. But right now, a lot of people will say, well, I ask AI this and it gives me the wrong answer. Well, that's because you're using a public database. So now we're trying to teach you how you can create your own AI models, your own chat GPTs, your own systems to where it's trained on your specific business knowledge.
so let's talk about that some more because that is very interesting. You can't just ask AI to do anything, especially when you're just starting out with, let's use ChatGPT for example. When you're using ChatGPT, it'll tell you AI does make mistakes. So you do have to have some type of knowledge in what you are trying to create or what you're trying to do. So that also means the human aspect of technology or AI has to, you still have to grow, you still have to learn, you still have to have knowledge to make it work the best way for you, correct?
Yes, and we call that human in the loop, right? So that's the proper term for it, human in the loop. You always want someone there. Let's just say right now you have a marketing agent, right? And it does promotions for you. But what if it's summertime? AI doesn't know that let's say you had a promotion for the winter and now it's summer. AI doesn't know that it's summer. So you're always going to need that human in the loop to update the promotions to say like, hey, okay, when summertime's come, we're going to need to change this. So that's just like a very simple example to give you right now. But yes, you always need that human in the loop to update. Things may change and you want to delete some information. So it's super important to keep a human and to know that we're not here to tell you, hey, get these systems and replace employees. No, you need the culture, right? Because the culture is kind of what builds the company as well. Computers can't build culture, right? There's no emotions there. So you definitely want to keep the human in the loop.
Yeah, and we are the culture, just to let
I
you
know,
guys.
right? Okay. So this is the fun part, right? So leverage. Technology should amplify your abilities, right? And I know a lot of people are hearing, like, I know I've heard Elon Musk say this, like, AI is going to create a lot of new millionaires. And then we're all sitting here like, what is he talking about? And at first, it just kind of went over my head. You hear these names and you're like, okay. But it's really true because I literally just recoded my entire website. My website cost me 2000 something dollars. I realized I didn't like it. I decided to do it myself. It took me maybe 7 days. And now I just rebuilt a whole website that was $3,000. So I personally believe it when people say certain things like it's going to create millionaires. It will if you allow it to leverage your ideals already, right? Amplify them. So when you learn how to use AI, automation, and digital tools strategically, you can spend less time doing things that you always have to do or things that you couldn't do before. And the main goal of it right now is really to buy back your time. We all know like time is priceless, right? We want to buy back our time, right? So a less human effort and more meaningful outcomes. So again, I'm going to ask you all, how can technology help me do things faster, better, and smarter? We've been having such a good conversation that I feel like we've already been touching on a lot of this stuff, but But yeah, this is the part that I really want to make sure people understand. Like once you understand the knowledge, you understand it, you change your mindset, right? Because you can go straight into learning tools, but if you have that old fearful mindset, you're not going to go anywhere. So we want to grow first, and then we're going to leverage.
Yeah, and just to talk about the millionaires, there's 1,000 millionaires created a day in America. I want that to sit with everyone. 1,000 millionaires created every day in America. So if you think that you cannot become a millionaire, whose fault is that? You just haven't done enough research. You don't have enough knowledge, so you're fearful of even thinking that you can become a millionaire, because it's 365 days in a year, and every day there's 1,000 millionaires created. And now and this is before the AI boom. It was just like in the last, I think it was 3 years. Like now we're here and we're still accelerating AI's growth. So it'll be more than that soon. So when you think about becoming a millionaire, think about it. If you hit 100K in a month, you have made in 12 months $1.2 million. You're a millionaire. But if you think that you can't do it, then that's the first problem. So if you have a limited belief of what you can accomplish, you're never going to go anywhere.
It's okay. We're here. Okay. So orchestrate, right? I think it's super important for this part, right? Because the future really belongs to us who can connect the dots. People who know how to put together systems, ideal people, and can just see things go, just see things work, see workflows through, right? Sorry, I got a little tongue tied. But in a nutshell, right? Orchestration for us just means understanding when humans lead, when automation helps, and when AI can take action. Because we don't want you losing money. And that's the main thing. I don't want you losing money, because I don't know if you've heard, but there's been reports coming out where so many companies are like limiting their AI policies now, right? Because people are using up so many tokens, because they're just searching on ChatGPT, because the company is like, okay, we need to adopt AI, so let's get Copilot, let's get Claude, and now they're using up all these tokens, because no one really knew, like, oh, maybe we should restrict certain things to certain people for leisure, right? But so it's very important here, right? You don't need to know everything about artificial intelligence either, but you need to know how to bring it together, right? You don't have to be a machine learner. You don't have to be a data scientist. You don't have to be an architect, right? You just need to be someone who has the ability to want to grow, to want to learn, and to want to understand it. And then once you do understand all of that, then now you need to figure out, how do I design systems that create opportunities, and how do I scale, right? So what we're going to teach you here, we're going to teach you this knowledge, and how we can use AI, the tools we can use, how we can build on it. But within yourself, you need to be thinking like, okay, once I learn this, how am I going to design this system for my business? What are we lacking right now? If we had to hire another company to come in and help us, can we do that in-house by leveraging AI tools? So that's what we mean here when we say orchestrate, right? So once you start learning this knowledge with us, and we get to this part where it's time to orchestrate everything that you're learning, you should be thinking, okay, can this help me design a system? Can this help me create opportunities? Can I scale? So so think about you in the middle, right? You, ideals, AI, people, system. You want to bring all that together. And that's the big O in this orchestrate.
And when you said that companies are limiting their employees to tokens, like as many tokens, because I know about tokens, but explain that a little more. Like, what are tokens, and how are they limiting tokens in their companies?
Okay. So I really don't want to get too technical, because it can get technical right there. But just think about like usage, right? Usage limits. So in order to be able to search something, you can only search for so many so many times, right? So a lot of times when you go on the internet and you go on Google, there's really no usage limit. You just go on AI, and I mean, not AI, I'm sorry, you just go on Google and you just search something. But when you're using certain tools and certain models, you may reach a cap, or you may reach an error where it's telling you like, hey, um, you're out of you're out of limits, or you're out of tokens, or you can't use this right now. Also, tokens can kind of go into when you're transporting information with different APIs. So that's why I didn't want to get too technical into that part with the APIs. But really, let's think of it like usage and limits, right? So understanding that when you buy an AI tool, all tools aren't going to be free. Majority will be free, right? But once you start using that tool, you want to understand, like, do I really need this? What are the costs associated with this? And as we get more into the course, we'll dive deeper into that part. But really, I hope that answered.
Yeah, I think I got it. So
Elaborate more on tokens, go ahead. But I
yes,
will go down a rabbit hole, and I didn't want to get too technical here.
yeah, don't get too technical. I know you're the specialist here, so I'm gonna try to put it piece by piece together so it is relatable to a real world thing. So you remember arcades, right? When you go in an arcade, think about your tokens as being a pocket full of quarters, and you put the quarters in to a game, and you have a certain amount of time. After that time is gone, I got hair on my. After that time is suspended or gone from the tokens that you're using or the quarters, the bag of quarters, you have to restart. So what companies are doing, their employees are putting a whole bunch of quarters in that they give them, like they're the parent, and they're giving them quarters, and they're just putting them in, and they're like, oh, we're running out of money, so we got to limit this. So I'm not going to keep giving you quarters. So be careful with the quarters that you use in this AI machine, should I say? Is that something similar to it in
Yeah,
a similar way?
yeah. I mean, and if you wanted to get deeper, it's really just like data, right? So any AI model is going to process data, right? It's either a text, an image, or audio, right? So it's like that operational language. So it's just transmitting that data, right, and understanding the process. So the tokens just understand like what's happening between the data. So, but for now, we need to understand that that costs are associated with it. So,
Mm-hmm.
and you'll know, like, once you decide like which tool you want to use and what model you want to use, that the pricing and things will be there for you to understand that. But again, I don't want, and that's the thing where, I mean, you don't need to know everything, right? Because this can start going over some people's head, and they're like, okay, tokens, data, what? I don't get it. You don't really even need to know everything, right? But you do need to understand, like, okay, there's costs associated with AI. So now let me search, like, what are the costs that associated? And if it says like, okay, well, you need to know that you only get this much usage, this many limits, and this, then you just need to understand what that means. So that's what we mean being a continuous learner. You may not know it now, but then you're gonna jot it down, like, okay, well, I know that it's going to cost me this for this for that. Now let me research, what does this mean? So we're also here trying to teach you to evolve your mindset too, and use AI to help you answer these questions.
Gotcha. So I do want to call out a few different companies that I want them to take action on. So if you have a private practice and you're a doctor, a law firm and you're a lawyer, a nonprofit and you have been bringing in revenue, I want you guys to come up with 3 questions that you can ask us and put them in the school community, and we're going to help you turn that into an actionable plan so you can leverage AI. So 3 questions, and again, that's doctors with law with what's that law? Doctors with private practices, lawyers with law firms, and also nonprofits that have been bringing in revenue that want to increase revenue. So 3 questions about AI, send them to us, and we're going to try to put together a roadmap for you and get you started in that direction, leveraging AI.
Okay. And then when, right? So we all know now, winning is not always just about money, right? We want to be able to build confidence. We want you all to be able to launch businesses if you haven't already. We want you to be able to scale your businesses, hire employees, help others rise with you. We want you to be able to solve those real problems, grow your career, create opportunities, right? And I feel like you're going to do all of this once you kind of go through that framework of, again, growing, having that mindset, leveraging your tools and the skills that you're using, orchestrating it, and then it's automatically going to put you in a place to now where you're winning. So that's just a little framework that we wanted to show you all so you kind of understand, what you're getting what we're going to teach you and how we're going to guide you there, and how it's more than just buying a tool, learning a tool. It's really about shifting your mindset and becoming a creator, not just a consumer. So, and I also want to leave with something for you all. What does winning look like for me? What does winning look like for you? And what are you really building toward?
I'm gonna answer that question. What winning looks like for me. I'm gonna go first, since I'm on this call facilitating a little bit. What winning looks like for me is creating 50 millionaires out of the 5 a.m. club, and HSI putting that structure in place through the 5 a.m. club. What does that look like? You join the 5 a.m. club, you will be able to join courses just like this. You'll be able to connect with Sherrell and leverage her knowledge so you can gain knowledge, so you can grow faster, work more efficiently, and become a millionaire. That's what my vision is with the 5 a.m. club, through faith, fitness, mental health, and business growth. Because those are four key pillars in someone's life that wants to do better. So that's what my goal is. So us talk about what's your goal, Sherelle, with the 5 a.m. club, HSI, and with Tech Your Way.
Okay. So go to the next slide because I have it. This is what I call the winning matrix, right? So what does glow winning look like and what does traditional winning look like? So traditional winning, the focus was just on, your individual financial gain. But with us, it looks like designing a life that aligns with values, right? Scope, you just want to accumulate money, right? So traditional winning, you're just trying to get more money, more money, more money. But with our glow winning framework, you're going to start solving real problems and launching real businesses. So it's not just about being a person where my business is gaining money, I have all this financial gain. Now you're going to be a person that's in position to actually solve your problems, and launch businesses if you haven't already. Um, Hoarding knowledge, right? Having status was like a traditional way of winning. But with us, no, we're creating opportunities. We're building confidence. We're helping others rise with us. This is just not a single player success. You're right. So when you ask me, and I wanted to go into this because you're like, what does it look like, for me and for us? And I kind of said before, like, your whole mission is what a lot of my values are built on. And I just feel like we need to make sure when we're learning something new and when we are trying to scale our business that we do have, God in it, faith is there. And so that's really important to me, right? But also, I just feel like it's super important that we're not just trying to get money. We're creating life that we value, right? We're really solving problems in this world or solving our own problems, and we're creating opportunities. So winning for me, that's what winning.
Now, I want to ask the audience and whoever's watching, why do you want money? Why do you want to become a millionaire? Why do you want the things that you want? Because alignment is key in our community. So why I want to help 50 millionaires is because that is satisfying a need of having families live freely, giving time back, being able to do things that you never thought you could do, and breaking that limiting belief. I truly believe if I give you $1 million, you'll blow it. But if I teach you how to make $1 million, you will be able to make that and more and teach someone else how to do the same thing. I don't care if you take the information I give you or we give you in this community and then go tell somebody else how to do it. That's what we want. That's being fruitful and multiplying, not just having babies. Because I know people say be fruitful and multiply. No, that's not all. You have to leave a legacy. You have to teach people what you know and not harbor that knowledge. That's not going to do anything because what are you going to do when you're dead and gone? You can't give it away then. That doesn't make any sense. So you have to be willing to help, to partner, and to be involved, engaged in what we're doing because it's always help the next man up. That's the way I look. And when I say man, I mean man and woman. So, is there anything else you want to say or put out, Sherrell, before we end the call?
Um, there's a couple more slides if you wanted
Oh,
to.
okay.
I think there's like one or two more. um, you can go to the next one. We talked a lot about that, but I do want to end with so like we all know, knowledge without execution is potential. Execution, create results, and that's why we're here. Like to kind of build that community and empower one another, right? But go on to the next. And this is what I wanted to leave with, right? So my goal isn't to make everyone an AI expert, but I do want to empower you all to learn this information and to start becoming to learn this information and just not be consumers of it, right? But most importantly, I want you all to know that you're not behind. And a lot of people will make you feel like right now that you're behind, and if you don't know it now, that it's too late, but it's still evolving. The framework is still evolving. We're still learning with it, right? And I think it's a perfect time right now for people like myself and you and small business to know that you don't have to be a top 5 Fortune 500 company to scale your business. You don't have to be a engineer to use this knowledge. It's so accessible. It's so easy to learn if you just take the time and you're willing to commit to it. So that's why we created that framework, right? Because I think it's so important to go through the phases, to go through the step, to understand it. And it may sound pretty repetitive, but you have to be willing to be a continuous learner with this, because AI is going to continuously change. We haven't even seen what the world is going to look like by 2030. But I think right now, if we build those foundational skills, we start learning how our businesses and enterprises using it, because they're learning just like us, right? So that's why I'm really here with you all, because I work for enterprise companies, right? We are adopting AI. I work behind the scenes and I see what they're doing, and I understand how they're learning with it. They're adopting it. They're building it into their systems, right? And I realize that these same tools is at our hands as well. Prior, it didn't used to be at our hands, but now it is. So I just want to make sure I leave that there, right? It's so important to have a framework before you learn something, to have a foundation, to understand how you're going to learn it, understand how you're going to execute it, and understand what you're doing and why you're doing it. Because again, I'm not here to just say, go learn Notebook, go learn ChatGPT, go learn Google, go buy all these tools. No, I want you to understand where we are in the world, how it can benefit you and your businesses, and how you can scale and how you can bring others up with you. So again, it's always a pleasure connecting with you. But yeah,
I
so
just want to say thank you. Go ahead.
oh no, I think it was a little lag. I just said story.
Okay. So I want to say thank you, Sherrell, for that valuable information. And again, if you're not inside the school community, please join. You'll have access to me, Sherrell, and a bunch of other different resources that you can leverage to become financially free. Like I said, in the next 12 months, we're on a mission to create 50 millionaires. It's not like 1,000 a day. We're not there yet, but we do strive to be one day. So we want just a piece of the 1,000 in a day, and that is 50. So until next time, it's 5 a.m. Club After Hours, where we talk about faith, fitness, mental health, and business. And until next time, peace.
Bye.